Don Lemon used to be one of the biggest names on cable news. For years, he was one of CNN's most recognizable faces. He had the primetime slot, the network backing, and the kind of media status most anchors never reach. Now he's busting into open church services with groups of liberal lunatics, and as a result is facing multiple charges for doing so. So, what happened? Don Lemon joined CNN in September 2006, working out of the network's New York bureau. At first, he looked like a rising star. He co-hosted weekday programs, worked with other anchors, and slowly built his profile inside the network. But even early on, there were signs that everything was not smooth behind the scenes. A Variety report published years later said tensions with co-anchor Kira Phillips escalated in 2008, with Don Lemon reportedly sending her threatening text messages after she was chosen for an Iraq assignment instead of him. This would lead to an internal HR investigation, with Lemon being reassigned to weekend duties. By 2013, Don turned his own audience against him when he said black men should stop sagging their pants and using the N-word.
If this doesn't apply to you, if you're not doing this, then it doesn't apply to you. I'm not talking about you. Here's number 5. Pull up your pants. By promoting the use of that word when it's not germane to the conversation, have you ever considered that you may just be perpetuating the stereotype the masser intended, acting like a...
But Don would skirt right past that controversy because in 2014, he hit the big time. CNN made him the permanent host of CNN Tonight, replacing Piers Morgan in prime time. His rise had been helped by CNN's nonstop coverage of Malaysia Airlines Flight 370, where Lemon became one of the network's biggest on-air faces. At that point, he was a major figure. He was named one of the Advocate's 50 most influential LGBTQ people in the media. CNN clearly saw him as one of the faces of their network. Then came Donald Trump. Like a lot of media figures during that era, Lemon became completely deranged. His coverage got sharper, more emotional, and more openly political. By 2016, his nightly show was becoming less straight news and more anti-Trump opinion. In 2018, he called President Trump a racist on air in response to Trump's reported immigration comments.
CNN Tonight, I'm Don Lemon. The President of the United States is racist.
Later, Lemon said that statement gained him a lot of enemies, but it also showed how far he had shifted. He was no longer just covering the Trump era, he had become one of its media combatants. By 2019, CNN Tonight had become even more opinion-driven, and around that same time, another controversy hit. In August 2019, bartender Dustin Heiss filed a lawsuit accusing Don Lemon of physical and verbal assault tied to an incident at a Sag Harbor bar that year before, and Lemon denied it. That case hung over him for a while, but in January 2022, it was dropped and dismissed after the accuser was found to have given contradictory testimony. So legally, that problem went away. But the bigger issue for Lemon was what his public image had become. In January 2020, a clip went viral showing Lemon laughing on air while two guests mocked Trump supporters using Southern accents.
Donald Trump's a smart one in there. Y'all elitists are dumb.
You elitists with your geography and your maps and your spelling, even though my
your math and your reading.
Trump responded by calling Lemon the dumbest man on television. Lemon defended himself, saying he was just reacting to a guest joke, but the clip stuck. To many people, it looked smug. To a lot of other viewers, it looked like one more cable host who had stopped reporting the story and started performing in it. Still, the Trump years also brought Lemon some good ratings. In 2020, after the death of George Floyd, CNN's 10 p.m. hour surged. Lemon's show reportedly drew 2.4 million viewers that month, which was described as the network's biggest audience ever in that time slot. So publicly, he still looked strong, but underneath that success, things were starting to crack. In May 2021, CNN Tonight with Don Lemon was renamed and reformatted into Don Lemon Tonight, a more personality-driven 2-hour primetime show. Then in 2022, the problems started coming even faster. In September 2022, Lemon got criticism after asking CNN commentator S.E. Cupp on air whether mommy brain was affecting her focus.
70% of Republicans
want abortions, but with restrictions, right? But want restrictive abortion.
No, I was going on a different issue, but you can go down. I mean, a majority of...
Did you lose your train of thought? I do it all the time.
I did, but...
Is it fair to say this? Because I'm not a mommy, but is it mommy brain? Is it
No, Don, I
can
just,
call it
I
COVID.
just forgot what I was
I
going to say.
I forget what I'm talking about all the time.
That same month, the new CNN CEO, Chris Litt, moved Lemon out of prime time and into the new morning show called CNN This Morning, alongside Poppy Harlow and Caitlin Collins. Lemon publicly called it a promotion, but people weren't buying it. Sources close to the network reportedly described it more like a demotion meant to tone down the political edge that had taken over his old show. On October 7th, 2022, Don Lemon Tonight aired for the final time. Lemon gave it an emotional farewell. Then CNN This Morning launched in November, and almost immediately it looked like a recipe for disaster. In December 2022, Lemon took more criticism for comments about gender pay in soccer, with his own audience calling him sexist.
Men's tournament brings in more money, but when it comes to the U.S., I'd make the argument that the women's team is far more responsible for the boost in popularity in soccer.
All right, I would make the exact opposite argument. I know everyone's going to hate me.
Go ahead, Don.
But the men's team makes more money.
Hey.
If they make more money, then they should get more
Here's
money.
why does the men's team-
The men's team makes more money because
You know why?
because people are more interested
But
in it.
guess
Then in early 2023, the whole thing really started coming apart. Reports came out that he had multiple heated off-camera exchanges with Caitlin Collins, including one moment where he reportedly shouted at her so badly that a producer had to tell him to take the day off and cool down. Then came the Nikki Haley comments. In February 2023, during a segment on CNN This Morning, Lemon said Haley, who was 51 at the time, was not in her prime, and claimed women are considered to be in their prime in their 20s, 30s, and maybe 40s.
Nikki Haley isn't in her prime. Sorry. A woman is considered to be in her prime in her 20s and 30s and maybe 40s.
What are you talking? Wait.
That's not according to me.
Prime for what?
It depends. I mean, it's just like prime. If you look it up, if you Google when is a woman in her prime, it'll say 20s, 30s, and 40s.
His co-host immediately pushed back, but Lemon still doubled down on air. CNN CEO Chris Litt later called the comments unacceptable. Lemon had to apologize to CNN colleagues at an editorial meeting later that month. He said he understood why people found the comments completely misguided. He was briefly pulled from the air and agreed to sensitivity training. Don's own network was beginning to learn how deranged he had become. Then came the moment that many people say ended Don Lemon's career at CNN. In April 2023, Lemon conducted a confrontational interview with Vivek Ramaswamy that reportedly left several CNN leaders exasperated. Towards the end of the interview, Lemon took issue with Ramaswamy, saying the NRA helped freed slaves after the Civil War, earned Second Amendment freedoms, and the conversation quickly turned south. No pun intended.
The part that I find insulting is when you say today black Americans don't have those rights after we have gone through civil rights revolution in this country.
You are sitting here telling an African American about the rights and what you find insulting about the way I live, the skin I live in every day.
Here's where you and I have a different
freedoms
point
that
of view.
black and white that black people don't have in this country, and that black people do have.
Well, here's where you and I have a different point of view. I think we should be able to express our views regardless of the color of our skin. We should have this debate
I'm not saying you
without me
shouldn't express your
regarding you
views,
as a
but I
black
think it's
man,
insulting that
but
you're
me
sitting
regarding you
here,
as a fellow citizen.
that you're
That's what I
sitting
think we should
here,
see.
whatever ethnicity you are, explaining to me
Whatever ethnicity
about
I'm, I'll
what
tell
it's
you-
like to be black in
Whatever
America.
ethnicity I'm, I'll tell you what I am. I'm an Indian American. I'm proud of it.
At that point, the writing was on the wall. And on April 24th, 2023, the same day Fox News fired Tucker Carlson, CNN fired Don Lemon after 17 years. Lemon said he found out through his talent agent, not directly from management. He said he was stunned and expected someone at CNN to tell him personally. CNN disputed that and said he had been offered an opportunity to meet with management, but instead released a statement on Twitter. Either way, the party was over. But this wouldn't stop deranged Don Lemon from trying to stay relevant. In June 2023, Elon Musk reached out and suggested that Don host a show on X, saying the audience there was much bigger. They reportedly had a phone call and Musk pushed the idea of an exclusive partnership, to which Don Lemon agreed. In January 2024, X publicly announced the Don Lemon Show, with plans for 3 30-minute episodes per week. The reported deal sounded big, $1.5 million a year, 60% of ad revenue, and other incentives tied to performance. For a minute, it looked like Don had found a new lane. Then he torched it almost instantly. In March 2024, Lemon recorded his first episode, a long sit-down interview with Musk at the Tesla headquarters in Texas. During the interview, he pressed Musk on reported ketamine use.
Ketamine and drug therapy is increasingly becoming more in the mainstream.
Yeah.
Do you think you're doing it under a doctor's care, right?
Yeah. Literally a prescription from a real doctor, not like,
Yeah, but do you feel like you ever abuse it?
I don't think so.
Hate speech on X.
Do you believe that X and you have some responsibility to moderate hate speech on the platform?
I think we have a responsibility to adhere to the law.
DEI.
Let's talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion. All right, that's been a target of yours lately on X. There was a repost of Ben Shapiro that you claim that DEI is killing people. Specifically, you point to medicine. You claim that DEI programs are putting people at risk.
What I was referring to there was that if we lower the standards for doctors, such so that they, if the test for a doctor is lowered, then the probability of them making a mistake and killing someone is obviously going to be higher.
In the 2024 election.
And speaking of MAGA, you recently met with Donald Trump in Florida. What did you guys talk about?
I was at a dinner. I was at a breakfast at a friend's place, and Donald Trump came by. That's it.
Did he ask you for money?
He didn't.
Did he ask you for a donation?
No.
He didn't.
Elon got visibly irritated. At one point, he said,
I don't have to answer questions from reporters. Don, the only reason I'm doing this interview is because you're on the X platform and you asked for it. Otherwise, I would not do this interview.
At another point, when Lemon brought up moderation, Elon accused him of loving censorship.
So, Don, you love censorship, is what you're saying?
No, I don't love censorship.
Then why are you asking?
I believe in moderation, but I don't believe in
censorship. Moderation is a propaganda word for censorship.
Then, shortly after the interview was recorded, Elon texted Lemon's agent saying that the contract was canceled. And that was it. Elon later publicly said Lemon's approach was basically CNN but on social media, and said it lacked authenticity. Lemon then released the interview publicly on YouTube and X, and said Elon's free speech values apparently did not extend to taking questions from people like him. The attempted comeback fell flat on its face. Then came the strange middle period. In March 2024, Lemon returned to CNN as a guest to talk about the Elon Musk interview. Don was probably hoping this would be his way back in the door, but it wasn't. In September 2024, he would appear on CNN again with Aaron Burnett to promote his book and comment on the news. That got some people speculating that maybe CNN would bring him back into the fold. But they didn't. Meanwhile, Lemon leaned harder into independent media. A lot of his new content was live streams, commentary, and man-on-the-street style clips. That's not automatically a problem. A lot of people reinvent themselves online. But compared to where Lemon used to be, it felt like a come down. But then things got even worse for Don Lemon. January 18th, 2026. A group of protesters disrupted a Sunday church service at City's Church in St. Paul, Minnesota. The protest was tied to opposition against Pastor David Easterwood, who was affiliated with ICE in Minnesota. While David Easterwood wasn't present at this service, Pastor Jonathan Parnell was, and Don immediately stuck a camera and microphone in his face to get his reaction.
What do you think of this? I mean, this is unacceptable. It's shameful. It's shameful to interrupt a public gathering of Christians in worship.
But there were folks who will say,
I have to take care of my flock.
Okay, but listen, we live in there's a constitution and the First Amendment to freedom of speech and freedom to assemble and protest.
What's very telling is Don didn't even take the time to correct the title of his video to say he was interviewing Jonathan Parnell, not David Easterwood. Many people in his comment section would correct him on this. Lemon later said he was there as a journalist covering the event, not as a participant. But federal prosecutors didn't see it that way. A grand jury was eventually convened and indicted Lemon and 8 other people in 2 charges: conspiracy to deprive rights and interfering with religious freedoms under the FACE Act. At the end of January 2026, federal agents arrested Don Lemon in Los Angeles. That alone was a wild headline. The man who used to sit at a CNN desk every night was now being arrested by federal agents. On January 30th, Lemon was released without posting bail. He was even allowed to travel to France for work while the case continued. On February 13th, 2026, he appeared in federal court in St. Paul and pleaded not guilty to both charges. Outside the courthouse, he said that for more than 30 years, the protection of the First Amendment had been the foundation of his work and called freedom of the press a bedrock of democracy. By February 27th, the DOJ charged 30 additional people tied to the broader anti-ICE church protest case. As of March 2026, Lemon has pleaded not guilty. The case is still ongoing in federal court and no trial date has been publicly reported. So to be clear, these are charges right now, not convictions, and the case is still playing out. But even with that said, the image is hard to ignore. Don Lemon went from CNN star to CNN problem. Then he got demoted, then fired, then his ex comeback blew up in his face, then his online reinvention started looking more and more desperate. And now he's facing federal charges in a case tied to a church protest. That's not just one bad week, not one bad quote, not one bad interview, that is a long, public, ongoing collapse. To be continued. Thank you for watching.